Wow, that's right.
I kiss my mama, mommy, I'm ready, just like my daddy. I kiss my daughter, I hug my son, grab my gun. Let's have fun.
Let's have fun, baby.
Jockey Mo, I'm jocking my feet up like Hurricane Katrina.
Many kind of Indians, man, to make the thing happen. Many kind of Jews. See the building, Empress Nikki, yeah. Or I should say Empress Jackson.
India. Indians coming. We hit the streets. Any means necessary. We won't turn around.
That's that real business NOLA music, that real New Orleans music. Our ancestral music, ancestral beats.
Police talking crazy.
What's up, Slam? Shotgun in the building. We out here banging to it, baby.
Here come the minions with that old time religion.
With that old time, what? That old time religion? We talking about that Torah. The old time, the OG.
Chief Jolly. Scream Coochie Molly.
Coochie Molly.
Our culture. We stick together.
We stick together, baby. Tougher than leather. Yeah.
Represent your name. Represent your gang. Do your thing.
Remember my gang? Jula's my gang. 12 tribes, my set. Yeah. She saw dead down, that's right, Ashley. It's in our blood. Shotgun. Ashley on the line with Wobble Tribe, they say. The little one heard your music and started dancing. Uptown. Downtown right there. Yeah. All around India. Yeah. Sometimes we've got to go with our indigenous music, you know. Playing this because as we are getting closer to, let's say, fight night. November 3rd, the election, we getting close to fight night. We got to get back to our tribal music, our indigenous feelings. You know what I'm saying? We can't be listening to what the Europeans gave us. We got to listen to the beat that we make. Yeah. See, in that Inyan, they don't dance on the fourth beat, and my line shaka, it's on the first beat. See, Inyan, everything about the Inyan, head first, let's go. We dance on the first beat, not the fourth beat. I don't know if y'all even know about how dancing goes, but you know what I'm saying? This is time. This is what you should be feeling. Playing reggae in your houses. Playing old music in your house that's gonna bring you back to a spirit when we was fighting. This music they got out right now ain't no spirit about fighting. Ain't no spirit about the Most High. None of that. Yeah. Seminole Hunters, call them out. Roll call. Gert Town. Downtown 7 Wall. 9 Wall. From that 9 don't mind that one. Yeah, nah. Not in the 3rd wall. That 9 wall is a bit different than the 3rd wall, man. Oh. Yeah. One-type warrior. 7 wall. Hunters. We are the hunters out there downtown. Y'all know the difference between warrior and hunters? See, that's the thing. If you ain't in the game, and you don't understand the lingo, you can walk in the wrong place. You can walk downtown and call them boys warriors, and you might have an issue. You go uptown and call them boys some hunters. Say, bro. Yeah. Double nation. Terrence, big Chief Terrence. Yeah. Golden Eagles. Pretty white eagles. This is our tribal names in New Orleans. This is what we created from our ancestral beliefs. Not no, and forgive me, brother, but no African, no. This is our culture. This is the beat of the people by the river. New Orleans' original name was CHOPITOULAS, not New Orleans. CHOPITOULAS means people by the river. Oh man, you have been living by the river. When you read these scriptures, you know that's where he told us to be by the river. If you know these scriptures, you know these things in Revelation, they're gonna come and grab us and bring us to the river. See, y'all think this is different. Costumes that the Most High put a plan in this. It's ingrained in us in our city, beat by the wall. The Most High said that when he comes back and cracks the sky with his sun, that he's going to take all his women and take them to the water. The water is the water. The city is named for the people by the water. Man. Yeah. Want to thank my brother, Shotgun Slim, you know what I'm saying? Spy Boy, you know what I'm saying? And Big Chief Black, Uptown, some Black Flame Tribe, you know what I'm saying? This got love for every man, for our community, for our culture, man. There we go, that tambourine, the tambour. They call it in the scripture, the tambour. Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. We are your humble servants and hosts for tonight. I am Kayel, and in the building, the young hunter, the young warrior is in the building. He made it back. Young Jordan is in the building. Yes. Even though he was born in New Orleans, his people from New Orleans, Jordan hadn't had a chance to really know New Orleans. So as he's listening to the song, he's like, what's that music? What's that? Now, you gotta understand something. This is a child that was born in Texas, right? Yeah. Was born in Louisiana, but lived in LaPlace. But he doesn't remember any of that. He moved out of Louisiana way before he could even remember. Way before he could remember. He never heard this type of music before. But when he heard it, he was like, whoa, what is this? That's the same way for us. That's the same way the Most High says that who has an ear to hear will hear, and who has an eye to see will see. So this young man at 7 years old had never heard this music before. But his family, all his family's from New Orleans, heard this, and all of a sudden he's like, Oh, that sounds like me. I don't know what that meant. That sounds like Mo. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is with the scriptures we waking up in this day. That's exactly what is happening to us. Many of us that's on this walk, we don't know how we got to this walk. It was given to us. And we don't know why we chose this information over all the other information we done got. Why I chose not to be a Moor, or why we chose not to be Islam, or why I chose not to be Catholic, why I chose not to be Baptist. Out of all of the tributaries that come to the great river. You know what that great river is? You know what that great river is, y'all? When we read in John chapter 27, verse 7, it's the living waters. See, the living waters is that one river that all spirituality comes from. And there's many tributaries. There's many rivers that come out of that great water, that great body, that great life-sustaining source. But they're not the same. You got tributaries. You know, our great river, which is really the only great river, because when you look at Africa, they don't have a great river like the Mississippi River. Their Nile, when you look at the definition of the Nile, it is actually a tributary. It is not a great river. The Euphrates, by definition, is a great river, or is supposed to be the real big river in Egypt. But you know, you can't tell it to none of our Egyptologists. Everybody say the Nile River, that's where everything came from. Fool, Nile ain't even a river. It's a tributary. It's a river. It's not a it's not a river. It's a tributary. It's a lake. It's a bayou. It's water that just came off of the chute of the living water of the Most High. But you know, our Europeans, you know, our Egyptologists, they say that the Nile is the great river of Egypt. It's an all lie. It's an absolute lie. There is no great, make believe. That's right. It's absolute make believe. In actuality, the Nile, by definition, means a tributary, not a great river. The Euphrates is the river that they're talking about. And then when you look at the Euphrates, you say, that's what you call a river? You look at the Mississippi River, then you look at the Euphrates River, you say, this is the big river of Africa. This is supposed to be the big river where everything happened at. This is supposed to be what I'm supposed to have pride in, the Nile. It's like saying you were born, right? Well, I got a better example, right? And I'm gonna hit, you've been wanting to see a football game, right? You've been wanting to see a football game all your life. Your kid, you're about to be a teenager. Your dad comes to you and say, for your 13th birthday, son, I'm going to take you to the Saints game. You like, man, yeah, I'm going to the Saints game. Yeah, man, 13. I've been watching football with my dad every Sunday. Oh, I've been hearing about this. Everybody. One second, y'all. Sorry about that, guys. So where were we? Tributaries in the Nile River, right? So we had a little feedback. Forgive us right quick. So the Nile is not a real river. Euphrates is not larger than the Mississippi River. And as you'll find tonight, when we go through some of our history, you'll find that these names of these ancient places you can find right here in America. As a matter of fact, the state of Utah has a place for every one of the 12 tribes. There's a city or a valley that is named after one of the 12 tribes, or different things from the actual scripture. So when we are understanding, when we talk about indigenous culture, when we understand what indigenous culture really means, it means the original, the aboriginal, the Adam original that was from this land. There is a natural rhythm that we have. That rhythm is connected directly to the earth. The earth has a rhythm. It's called the circadian rhythm. There is a rhythm that the earth actually vibrates on and dances to. You being made of it, and you being of the hearing of the sounds from the water. My brother Trip is in the building, who's a producer. Trip can hear water flowing a certain way and hear a beat come from the water the way it's getting off of the rocks. If you are in tune with the earth, then you hear the wind blow and you hear the chimes and you're thinking about hi-hats. That's the wind going through the trees. Then you hear the trees going. Earth and every natural thing in it is melody. It is melodic. So the drums that we beat, the sounds that we make, they resonate with us innately, because before all of this European German stuff, every instrument was made with natural wood, which means it grew up in the earth, which means it has the natural resonation of the wood and the vibration, because the grass vibrates at 432 hertz. So means the tree vibrates at 432 hertz. And which meant that our original vibrations that we did music in all was at 432 hertz. Until the Germans in World War II, and they decided to change to 440, which is a staticky frequency. So when we say the indigenous drums resonate with indigenous people, you're catching what I'm saying here? That you can't not resonate with it. You are innately connected to it. You couldn't bit more not dance when the drum beat came on as much as a white man can dance when the drum beat comes on. Facts, right? Because one is void of rhythm. So let me get this straight. Indigenous people that come from the earth resonate. The earth has a natural rhythm. It's called a circadian rhythm. Those people that come from the earth have a rhythm and known as the people of the rhythm of this earth. They're also known as the salt of this earth. And then the other would be not that. Then there's that definition of human, hue and man. The definition of hue means color. It means an array of colors. Not one, not black, not brown, but an array of colors. White would be the absence of color. So while y'all are worrying about the Black's Law Dictionary saying that black means nothing, well, we know through the laws of nature that white, by its definition of laws of nature, is the absence of color. So the original beings, the aboriginals on this earth, were called humans. Hue, man, a man of hue. When we sit here going back and forth and debating about these scriptures and these words and talking about the white man wrote it, when you can't even understand that the definition, by the mere definition of who you are, you had to have been duplicated and copied. See, by your definition of who you are as an indigenous, as original, means that everything else was copied after you. But you allow the news, you allow people's conversations, you allow doctrines to tell you that that's not true, that's not a fact. All of a sudden we start getting caught up in intellectual and pontificating, and we forget about the law. The law is I'm the original. So that means that everything you talking, you had to have gotten from me. Everything you beating, everything you creating, you are copying off of what I did. Now, the hard thing in the mirror for us, and we know this as Hebrews, we got to look ourselves in the mirror and say, man, our children are acting buck wild. They got it from us. I want to blame the children. I want to blame the Gentiles, the Gentile children. But the Gentile children is looking at me to guide them and teach them. Can I be mad at the child when it's my job to correct that child? When it's my job to discipline that child? Am I now supposed to be mad at that child because it didn't discipline itself? Because it didn't teach itself? Because it doesn't know the right way to go? I'm supposed to be mad at that. Or when I let the child take over my house, am I now supposed to act as though that's not my child? When the police come and knock on the door and say your child out here shooting people, robbing people, your child out here got so many babies, mamas is knocking on the door and say, you know what your child did with my daughter? And you act like that ain't your child. You act like that's not your child. Like, I had to write my hands off with that boy. He ain't right. But did you forget that same child that you writing off, you didn't do your job to teach him? Same thing right now. Same thing right now with the Gentiles in this hour. And when we're going to read Maccabees 13 and 14, you're going to find out that this hour looks very similar to the hours of the past. That the hours of the past, it was always about Judah teaching. It was always about Judah leading. It was always about Judah. A Yasharale. It has never ever been about anybody else but us. We take that out of the context of nations, of Yasharale, Egypt, America, Babylon, Assyria, Persia. All of these nations are fighting against Judah. Take it out of that, you put it back into the personal thing. They told you when Trump won that the black vote didn't get out. That's why Trump won. Not the fact that he won by electoral votes, not the fact that he lost the popular vote, but the narrative was that the black people didn't get out and vote. So that means that Judah, once again, got to lead the way. Judah ain't got houses. Judah ain't got no laws that's for him. Judah can barely make ends meet. Judah can't even ride in his car without getting stopped and beat on and checked on. Judah can't do nothing but. It's on Judah to be the moral code. It's on Judah to lead. We got to go to Judah to find out how we can get laws for ourselves. Ask any faggot. Yeah, you had to go to Judah. You had to go to the civil rights to figure out how to get laws for yourself, faggot. So if everybody got to follow what we do in order to get what they need, then it still remains that it's all about Judah. Stop giving your power to somebody else. Stop letting people put 3-card Molly in front of you and switch in the shells. The facts of the matter is you are the original. My brother Slim put us Inyans coming. What does Inyans mean? Well, Inyans come from supposedly Indian, right? But that's a European word, Indian, right? Well, the definition of Indian means of the Indies. Well, America, before the European bull crap, we were known as the West Indies. So if America, before Colombo, was called the Indies, and then they call us Indians, say we taught them some like and they use. Yes, exactly. Slim just said that, Shotgun just said that we taught them and then they took what they wanted and they added their paganism in it and they ran with it the way they ran with it. But still, as the adults in this, we have to stand up and be the adults in the room. There ain't no adults in this government. There ain't no adults in politics. Only adults deal with responsibilities. Actually, I'm sure, now I don't care how much the baby cried, you may give in and give a little sweets before dinner time, but you ain't giving them candy apples. You ain't giving them cake before dinner. You ain't doing that, Ashley. You making sure them children eat right. And I know your husband and my brother cook. So I know that they eating right. You know what I'm saying? So You wouldn't give them a whole bunch of that candy, right, before it was time for their dinner. Look, what we're about to get into is an understanding that we should always have and walk with. It is not a if then. It is not if new information comes along. It is not maybe somebody with a doctorate degree or maybe some archaeologist or something that's going to come back and put cake in my face because I didn't do this right. No. Or because I said something that was supposed to happen but didn't. No. See, I want you to know that you are the original. And everything comes after that. So if you are the original, that means any offshoot of you has to come back to you when they get lost. See, now, kids don't get upset until they don't know where their parents are. Kids do dirt when they know where their parents are. You know what I'm saying? See, okay, I hear mama over in the room. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this cookie right now. You see what I'm talking about? See, the children do dirt when they can identify where the parent is or where the law is. Well, as long as they got the law, which is us, underneath them, worrying about being killed, worrying about eating, worrying about vaccines, then we can't tell them that they are against the law, that they have broken all the laws that we have given them, added some of their own and broke them too. Right? We're talking about we in a lawless time right here. See, Wednesday night is cultural appropriation. And in cultural appropriation, it is our job to show that it is all about us being original. It is to show that they have appropriated our culture, which is the river of living waters, and they have created many tributaries. And these tributaries have gotten so old, 500 years old, that they've created other tributaries off of that tributary. And that tributary is going back to the main river. Now, if they want to tell you that they are the main river, that you need to go through them to get to the river, but you are the river. They would have no water if it was not for you. They would have no knowledge to corrupt if it wasn't for you. They would have no knowledge to corrupt if it isn't for you. All right, keeping that theme that they would have no water if it wasn't for you. They would have no culture if they didn't bastardize yours. They would have no rhythm if you didn't provide the instruments. They would have no hygiene if you did not provide hygiene. They would not know aqueducts. They would not know dams. They would not know how to navigate the world. Let's think about it in this instance. If you believe in the narrative of Christopher Columbus, it took him in 1592 to do it, but the Phoenicians had already sailed the entire world. The Chinese had already sailed the entire world. And now you got Johnny come Spanish and Britain that now they have to take the maps of the Phoenicians, which came out of Canaan, which was above Lebanon, which is above Jerusalem, and they all followed the Hebrew laws because we all spoke the same language. That's why we were the Semitic people. So the Phoenicians in history are the first ones to map this entire earth. The Phoenicians that lived with and amongst the Hebrews. Yes, they were Hamites. Yes, they were. Mixed in with some Danites and some others. But don't let history get you confused and make you think that everything is linear. That the Hamites started, then the Shem came, we were all in this together, man. So you gonna tell me that one man didn't see another man build a boat and he didn't think about building a boat too? So there were many seafarers, But the Phoenicians, they are credited with giving the mapping out the entire world, because everywhere the Phoenicians went, they left their culture and their kids. They sowed seeds there. Hebrews, we were pretty strict. We were supposed to stay within our own tribe. That's why you don't have that. That's why in history, when you look at who are the ones to make all these great nations or create these amalgamations of people, in our scripture, it told us that we were not to mate outside of our tribes. So yes, when you hear the story of the Phoenicians and you hear the story of them being African and you hear that they mapped out the world, well, know they spoke our language. How do we know that these particular Africans spoke our language? Because the language was Semitic, and that is Paleo-Hebrew. And Semitic comes from the word Shem, Shemitic, not Ham, Hamitic. So the Hamites were speaking our language, living in our land, and they mapped the entire world and left their seeds in every part of the world that they mapped out. Then come your Asians, your Chinese, which were Shemitic and Japhetic. And they traveled after what the Phoenicians did. Because once the Phoenicians came and saw them in Asia, they were like, where you came from? Oh, we want to go there too. You did? So the Asians were next. So the next people in culture that was able to raise their mind, to be a part of culture, to put their stamp on culture, to leave their memory and history, were your Europeans. They came and took the maps of the Asiatic people, right? Asiatic. You say, well, Asiatic, what is Asiatic? You know, I want y'all to know, truth be told, testimony. I didn't understand Asiatic until I was in my 30s. I was just like, Asiatic mean black. All right, okay. You dig it? You know, I was fight the power. You know what I'm saying? I always been militant. The Asiatic, you know what the Asiatic means? Well, Asiatic means that because of where Jerusalem is, Lebanon on top of that, Phoenicia on top of that, Turkey's above that. That is Asia Minor. So when they say Asiatic people, they don't mean people from China. They mean people from Turkey and Jerusalem, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran. That's your Asiatic. Then you add the Afro-Asiatic. That's when we get into our Hamitic. Then we flip that on in and put all that together. But when we understand that all of history, knowledge, and information started with the Hebrews as well as the Hamitics, that then gave their information to the Chinese, the Shemitic, Japhetic, mostly Japhetic, but Shem was in that, Japhetic people. And then they followed suit and traveled and created the same trade routes as the Phoenicians did that came from the Hebrews. We are not known to be all across the world because it was against our laws to go and sleep with all these strange ass women. We are not Attila the Hun. We are not Genghis Khan. We are not pharaohs. Hebrews do not find their power in a phallic symbol. We do not find our power in our sexual prowess. That's for children. That's for Egypt. That's for heathens. That's for people that can't control their loins. That's for people that just want to have iniquity around them. Period. So now we clear. And next time somebody tell you that this book was written by a European, you ask them, in what era, my G, is you talking what you talking? When did y'all learn to write? Oh, the 1500s when you invented the letter J in your white Jesus. Got it. Okay. Well, before the 1500s, Mr. White Guy, there's a whole lot of history. There's a whole lot of culture. There's a whole lot about the original inhabitants of this earth and the seed of the Most High's inheritance that's on this earth that just so happens to be Jacob. So Jacob the seed, Jacob is still making a decision, or at least being charged with the decision of being the moral compass of this world. I know I went a long way, but we're going to break it down right now. Come on. So we're about to get in this Maccabees chapter 13. Let me bring y'all to it. Oh, yeah, Maccabees. Now, while I'm getting y'all to the Maccabees, I'm explaining the Maccabees because everybody may not be familiar with the Maccabees. All right? The Maccabees came out of, and my name, if y'all don't know, my full name is Kayel Methodhius Yasharale. Right? So, Israel means Isis, Ra, and the god El. So that's why I don't use the word Israel. In looking at phonetics and language and understanding the Phoenician and the Paleo Hebrew, I was able to understand that it is Yasharale, just as the word for salvation is Yasha, right? So when the Most High says he's going to name his people after him, after salvation, his name was salvation. So Yasharale means the people of salvation. So Yasharale, my last name, Methodhius being my middle, and it comes from the Maccabees. Methodhius Maccabees was the one that started the revolt when Rome was taking over. When Rome was taking over Jerusalem and was going through all the country parts and making all of the different suburban areas of Jerusalem now sacrifice a pig unto their Greek gods or Roman gods. Well, you know, Greek Rome, but it's Greek, mostly Greek at that time. Greek god inside of our temples. They came across the town to where Methodhius was. And outside of Jerusalem, Methodhius and his family was a well-known family. They were an influential family. They were devout for the Most High. Well, a Roman soldier walks up to Methodhius and says, look, we got a deal for you all the way from Rome. Just for you, my G. You go ahead, since your family is most influential around here, you lay up there with your sons, Judah and all of them. Y'all go ahead and sacrifice, be the first ones to sacrifice a pig in your temple to our Greek gods, and we will take you back to Rome, give you a position, and your family will be taken care of. You'll be wards of the state. You will now be on welfare. That's exactly what he told him. Well, Methodhius said, no, can't do that, man. No, can do, man. No, can do. We don't get down like that. We know who our Most High is, so we don't play like that. Well, there there is, and always will be, a stepping and fetching Negro. So at that time, that stepping and fetching Negro that saw an opportunity to get power woke up to the Roman soldier where Methodhius was and said, yo, I'm your man. Does that deal work for me too? For me and my family? Since I know Rome is about to take over, I know everything that we have been doing is going down. We all been out here wild. I've been, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to make sure that my family's straight. Not that I don't love the Most High, but I just want to make sure my family's straight. I know Rome coming in, so I'll go ahead and do this. Y'all heard people talk like that before, right? No, man, I love my God. I love my G. I love whatever, but I got to go and do this, though. Well, I love the Most High, but, I'm going through this iniquity. So the Roman soldier, go do it. The guy goes up to go and make the sacrifice and Methodhius. And it says in scripture so clearly. And it taught me a lot, this scripture, when I read this. It said Methodhius, without emotion, without screaming out loud, without an announcement, raised his sword, cut the stepping and fetch it black man in half, then turned around and killed the Roman soldier. Didn't get rowdy, didn't start talking a whole bunch of mess about what he gonna do. He just did what he's supposed to do. And when he did that, he then stood up in front of everyone and says, everybody in this town that wants to follow the Most High the way that we are supposed to, come with me, we are headed to the mountains. And he did so. And what you saw was that, and what we know as Judah and the lore of Judah comes from that, because his son, Judah Maccabee, was the one that continued to take the war forward. And that's what we're going to read about tonight in Maccabees. We're going to read about Judah, Simon, Jonathan, all of the sons of Mattathias, as we were fighting against the Romans, as they were putting in Herod. Y'all all know who Herod is, because Herod is known because of the Jesus story. He's the one that killed all of the children from 1 to 2 years old, looking for Yasha when he was born. So what we're talking about is in between that 70 AD. No. I'm sorry. Not 70 AD. We're talking BC, before Yasha comes. So we're talking as the Greeks are going down and the Romans are taking over, right up until the point of Yasha, right? Because he was in 33 AD. So this is all BC, before his coming. And it was the prelude to, I guess you can say, it was the prelude. Us leaving and going to the mountains because of this incident, which allowed them to bring in the strangers into the land, right? We were on the run for many moons at that point, not back in Jerusalem. We were in other lands. So at that moment is when the Europeans or the Romans hijacked our identity. At that point is when they said, okay, they out. We're going to now assume power and bring in Romans, and we're going to subjugate you, and we're going to put a king over you. And that king became Herod. And Herod, when he was told of the prophecy that Yasha was coming, he decided to kill all the 1 to 2 year old children that were born in Jerusalem. Remember, he was born in Bethlehem, right? In Bethel, right? That was born in Jerusalem. So that's what we're going to be taking up to. So you know exactly who we're talking about, what type of people we're talking about. All right, my sister, let me get them down here too. Okay. Oh, y'all gonna be like that tonight. Since Maccabees is in what we call the Apocrypha, it's not on. I have to go to a special site so I can pull that up for y'all.
King James Bible Online.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, my man. Jordan, you got some answers, some questions answered? All right, guys, here we go. Let's get y'all up in the game. Ready when you are, my sister.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 13. Now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, and saw that the people was in great tremble and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together, and gave them exhortation, saying, You yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house have done for the Torah and the sanctuary, the battles also and troubles which we have seen.
So this is Simon, who is the younger brother of Jonathan, I believe. Yes, because as you'll see that it was Judah, then Jonathan, then Simon. So Simon is now is telling his people that, hey, you got people that's about to step up to us, but y'all know what we've done. Y'all know the exploits of what my father done, Mattathias. You know what Judah has done. Go ahead.
Verse 4. by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Yisrael's sake, and I am left alone.
Oh, sister, give us that a little bit more louder. Sister, give me that one more time, that folk.
By reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Yisrael's sake, and I am left alone.
All my brethren are slain. Come on.
Now therefore be it far from me that I should spare my own life in any time of trouble, for I am no better than my brethren. Doubtless I will avenge my nation, and the sanctuary, and our women, and our children, for all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice.
So Simon is saying, man, I ain't got nothing, right? They done killed all my people that was fighting with me. But I tell you, don't doubt this, though. I will avenge my nation and the sanctuary and our wives and our children, for all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice. They're always at us. I want y'all to understand this real coming theme. As you're waking up in this walk, you came out of this darkness and you thought that only the government was trying to get you. But you thought that the government was trying to get you. I really don't know why you thought the government was trying to get you. You didn't understand this scriptural, this historical position. You just thought that you were black and black people just are hunted. That's just what it is. But no. See, now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirits were revived. See, we've always had a fighting spirit. We've always had no, I refuse to die. You know what I'm saying? Thing, but we have always had everyone against us. We are not just the police force that is against us. It is our economic system here. It is our educational system here. It is our international system here. It is the way that we are represented through our news media to the world. All of those things are the Confederate factors that coming together to destroy us. Continue.
Verse 7. Now as soon as the people heard these words, their ruach revived. And they answered with a loud voice, saying, you should be our leader instead of Yehuda and Jonathan.
Your brother.
Your brother.
Right.
Fight our battles, and whatsoever you command us, that will we do. So then he gathered together all the men of war, and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem, and he fortified it round about.
I want y'all to notice something, the fact that early in that when Simon wanted to speak of who he was, he spoke of who he was as a man that was standing on the shoulders of his said brothers, Jonathan, Judah, and his father Maccabee. But here, he just says that he's ready to avenge everyone, and now everybody says that, you know what, we don't want Judah, we don't want Jonathan, we want you. But what is different about him? What is he saying that's different? What disconnects him from being a part of Judah and Jonathan? I bring that up because I want y'all to understand that's how people are in this day. People like his popularity. They like this person and they want to rock with this person as long as they like that person. As long as they feel like that energy is good over there. My sister watches the brother Impact all the time, and he said he spoke about that particular thing. And I gotta give him that aspect. That when you join a movement that's about life or death, it's no longer about how you like somebody or how you feel about somebody. If I join an organization and I'm saying I'm gonna be with this until I die, and I know that this organization is going to some things, it's kind of like the Army, the Navy, the Marines. They fight in their barracks against each other, but when they come out the barracks, they're fighting against everybody else in the world. Say it one more time, sister.
On one accord.
Fighting on one accord. That's where we have to be.
On code.
On code. Yeah, I can tell somebody I like this about, this is an example because it's in my mind, in fact, and I can tell somebody else, What I don't like about in fact. Now, one person gonna walk down the street and say, Kayel is all for in fact. Another person gonna say, man, he don't like them, he ain't rocking with them. Ain't none of them know what I'm saying. Ain't none of them know what position I'm from. They took a blurb and it resonated with their emotions. So they can go and gossip about something. So they can go and tell somebody that they know something. Right? But when you are in this mission, and that's this whole thing in Hebrew state of being is about, is preparing all of us for the impending battle that is coming. The impending war, the impending cutthroat situation, the impending stabbing in the back, the impending when you're going to have to be with your back against the wall, busting caps in the name of the Most High, or in fire and flame to protect your family. Either or. This show, this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday thing that we do is about preparation spiritually for the battle you're about to go in. I can't buy you guns for you. I don't have enough money to do that. I can't buy you a hole that you can go and get in. I can't buy you a barricade. But we can give you the spirit and the discernment and the understanding of how to be victorious when you are in it. So here it says, and they answered with a loud voice, saying, Thou shalt be leader instead of Judas or Jonathan, my brother. For fight thou our battles, and whatsoever thou commandest us, that will we do. Well, you was already following Judah and Jonathan. Now you're gonna turn your back on Judah and Jonathan to go to his brother? Don't that sound messy to y'all? Don't that sound like something you would hear in the streets now? Don't that sound like Mr. Hebrew 1? Yeah, I'm gonna call you out if you ever watching. You got Jacob going against Mally in the same camp. But instead of y'all keeping it internal, y'all want to let everybody know about your dirty draws. But that ain't what it's about in this hour. In this hour is that wherever you decide to lay your hat, where you're going to put your Timberlands and strap up at, don't let your emotions or how you feel about something stop you from the battle or the brigade or the troop or the tribe that you are in. Don't allow your emotions to make you the Benedict Arnold, to make you the Judas. Don't speak ill of another woman or man that is putting forth the effort to save his community. See, we get a couple of those things together, we might actually get ourselves up out of this. We add a big old helping of repenting, and we might just sail on through this thing, sister.
Like butter.
Like butter. Continue to read. Verse 10.
So then, he gathered together all the men of war, and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem, and he fortified it round about. Also he sent Jonathan the son of Shalom with him a great power to Jopha, who casting out them that were therein remained therein.
Mm-hmm.
So Tarfon removed from Akko.
From Ptolemy. I don't know why they gave you that one, but it's Typhon removed from Ptolemy. With the great power to him.
Right. Yeah. So in our tongue, in the Hebrew tongue, it's Akko.
Akko. Mm-hmm.
A-K-K-O.
A-K-K-O.
Right. Mm-hmm. With a great power to invade the land of Judea, and Jonathan was with him in war.
Mm-hmm.
But Simon pitched his tent at Kaid over against the plain. Now when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, he meant to join the battle with him. He sent messengers unto him, saying, Whereas we have Jonathan your brother in hold, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure concerning the business that was committed unto him.
Oh, war and debts of war. So they saying they're holding Jonathan, the brother of Simon, right, for ransom. Continue.
Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver and 2 of his sons for hostages. that when he is at liberty, he may not revolt from us, and we will let him go.
Say, we want to give us some insurance that once we let him go, y'all ain't gonna turn around and start slicing and dicing. Continue.
Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spoke deceitfully unto him, yet sent he the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people.
So peradventure means the rules of war. There is rules that we had, not just spiritually, but of war that all must adhere to. Continue.
Who might have said, because I sent him not the money and the children, therefore is Jonathan dead. So he sent the children and the 100 talents. Howbeit Tryphon dissembled, neither would he let Jonathan go. And after this came Tryphon to invade the land and destroy it, going round about by the way that leads unto Avraham. But Shimeon and his host marched against him in every place, wheresoever he went. Now they that were in the tower sent messages unto Tryphon, and to the end that he should hasten his coming unto them by the wilderness and send them victuals.
So he sent them forward and said, hurry up, we need you to get here.
Wherefore Tryphon made ready all his horsemen to come that night. But there fell a very great snow, by reason whereof he came not. So he departed and came into the country of Gilead. And when he came near to Bascama, he slew Jonathan, who was buried there. Afterward Tryphon returned and went into his own land. Then sent Simon and took the bones of Jonathan, his brother, and buried them in Modin, the city of his fathers.
Hold up, we're gonna hold up right there, and I'm gonna show y'all some. You know, we said there's a whole bunch of places out here in America that really mirror so this place we talk about Modin, right? There's a place called Modin, Maine. Yeah, that's pictures. Where's the music, the information? So Modin is a place in Maine, and it says here, this is what Jonathan, and you see here it's a Modin, the Camp Modin, Jewish camp for kids, Belgrade, Maine, since 1922. So, I gotta forgive me. If we got a Modin where they buried Jonathan, we got a Modin, Maine, in North America, and I mean, Utah got all of the names of the Hebrew places. Then you got this Jewish summer camp that's in Modin, Maine. I mean, it's just some things that's got to make you. What's up, Scott, in the building? It got to make you question some things, right? It just doesn't. It's like, why would somebody go through the effort to double name everything in the world? Have we run out of so many names in the world that what's in Northeast Africa that got changed to Middle East, that the same names are over there they put in Utah and in Maine? And then Canada comes from the root word of Canaan, which is the biblical word of Canaan, the land of Canaan, where we came from, right? I mean, I don't want to go too far for that. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention, that's just some interesting information when you start putting together these things. Continue.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 13, verse 26. And all Yisrael made great lamentation for him, and bewailed him many days. Simon also built a monument upon the sepulchre of his father and his brethren, and raised it aloft to the site, with hewn stone behind and before.
Everybody on Instagram, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. For the first time, Black Mask, and they're kicking me out before we finish the show, but on Hebrew State of Being. So you guys can all switch over to twitch.tv where you can catch the whole show, twitch.tv, and look under Hebrew State of Being. And come with us and watch the rest of the show, or go to Facebook under Glenn Jones. Shalom. All right. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
First Maccabees chapter 13, verse 28. Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father, and for his mother, and his 4 brethren. And in these he made cunning devices, about the which he set great pillars, and upon the pillars he made all the armor for a perpetual memory. And by the armor ships carved, that they may be seen of all that sail on the sea.
So he made this thing big enough, not so much of a lighthouse, but big enough that you can see it as you came in. This monument to Methathias, his mother, and his 4 brothers. Continue.
Verse 30. This is the sepulchre which he made at Modin, and it stands yet unto this day. Now Tryphon dealt deceitfully with the young king Antiochus, and slew him. And he reigned in his stead, and crowned himself king of Asia, and brought a great calamity upon the land.
Yes, he did.
Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea, and fenced them about the high towers, and great walls and gates and bars, and laid up victuals therein. Moreover, Simon chose men and sent to King Demetrius to the end he should give the land in immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil.
Yes.
Unto whom King Demetrius answered and wrote after this manner: King Demetrius unto Simon the high priest and friend of kings, as also unto the elder and the nation of Judea, of the nation of the Yahudim, says greeting. The golden crown and the scarlet robe which you sent us, we have received, and we are ready to make a steadfast peace with you. Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
So I got to bring our attention to something that I know everybody in New Orleans. And first of all, let's get to understanding that Simon is now the overall leader of Yasharale, as we're on the move, as his father Methathias and his brothers Jonathan and Judah have all perished, right? Well, at least Jonathan and the other 3 brothers. And then it says here that now Simon is sending a letter to King Demetrius. It says Simon chose men and sent to King Demetrius.
No.
I'm sorry, Demetrius wrote to him. I'm sorry, yeah. So, and this is the part when we were talking about earlier that it's all about Judah. And this is the part when the story starts to explain that through time, that every people, every nation has somehow in some way asked for us to give them either a vote of confidence, either a sponsorship, or fight their battles in order for them to be victorious. And here we have Demetrius is sent a letter on to Simon and said, moreover, Simon, choose men, and sent to King Demetrius to the end he should give the land and immunity because of all that Tryphon did in their wars, right? Unto whom King Demetrius answered and wrote after this manner: King Demetrius unto Simon the high priest. Now note that he is the high priest. King and high priest.
He's not king. He's just the high priest.
My sisters bring out the fact that he's not king, and I'm saying that it is king in that moment, on the sense that there's no kingdom, but everybody's following him. That all of our people are following him in this moment, as we'll continue to see. So as they're following him, they're kinging him by following him. They're also calling him the high. Now, Demetrius is calling him the high priest. His people hasn't called him this. All his people said was that we will follow you. So Demetrius, the king of other places, because we are a holy people, he's set to address Simon as king, as high priest, and friends of king, as also unto the elders and nations of Jews sendeth greetings. And here, the golden crown. In New Orleans, that's what we know. That's one of our major songs. My big chief got a golden crown. We should not take like these similarities that we see in here that are reflective to our actual culture. Continue.
Verse 37. The golden crown and the scarlet robe which you sent unto us we have received, and we are ready to make a steadfast peace with you, and to write unto your officers to confirm the immunities which we have granted. And whatsoever covenants we have made with you shall stand, and the strongholds which you have built shall be your own. As for any oversight or fault committed unto this day, we forgive it, and the crown tax also, which you owe us. And if there were any other tribute paid in Jerusalem, it shall no more be paid. And look, who are meet among you to be in our court, let then be enrolled, and let there be peace between us. Thus the yoke of the heathen was taken away from Israel in the 170th year.
So understand what just happened. Demetrius is trying to make a pact with Simon and saying that, hey, we can work this all out. Continue.
Verse 42. Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts in the first year of Shimeon the high priest, the governor, and the leader
of the Jews.
In those days Simon camped against Gaza and besieged it round about. And he made also an engine of war, and set it by the city, and battered a certain tower, and took it. And they that were in the engine leaped into the city. Whereupon there was a great uproar in the city, insomuch as the people of the city rent their clothes, and climbed upon the walls with their women and children, and cried a loud voice, beseeching Simon to grant them peace.
So why would they, if they heard a great noise, why would they be going to Simon to grant them peace? See, there's a big difference between old days and new days. They got the Old Testament, New Testament, Old Covenant, New Covenant. Well, you know what the difference is? Back then, the Most High heard us. And this one, he's turned his face. I'm going to explain. The reason why they ran to Simon, because he was the high priest. That meant that he had the ear to the Most High. It's what the Romans stole and called a pope. So when calamities came upon them in the Old Testament, they didn't think it was the government that did it. They didn't think that the government was going to save them. They actually knew that it was the hands of the Most High. So they went to their holy people and said, hey, can you speak to the Father? Because obviously he don't hear from me, because obviously he's doing this because of the things I did, right? So in the Old Testament, in the old ways, everybody ripped their clothes when they heard this noise, because they understood that the Most High was speaking to them. Continue.
Verse 46. And they said, deal not with us according to our wickedness, but according to your mercy. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city, and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entered into it with songs and thanksgiving. He put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would guard the Torah, and made it stronger than it was before, and built therein the dwelling places for himself.
Stronger than it was before. So what that means, man, we take some losses around this world, man. We're going to take some losses. Whoa, I don't know what that happened. I'm going to switch my thing off right there, guys. It says, they also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth nor go into the country. nor buy nor sell. Well, this thing hit my finger here, so I had to read it, guys, because it hit my finger. But anyway, as you see right here, that once they cleaned everything, they put men of valor there that would guard it. As you see, it says, yea, he put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before. When we repent, we are stronger than when we were when we slipped. When we repent and understand that this world is what it is, and we stop being a part of this new covenant or new testimony that the Father has turned his face from, we start acting as though we are the seed, that he does hear our prayers. Then we repent from that old world, and we are stronger in him. We are stronger in our supernatural power. Continue.
Verse 40, I'm sorry, where am I?
48.
Verse 49. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth, nor go into the country, nor buy nor sell. Wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals, and a great number of them perished through famine. Then cried they to Simon, beseeching him to be at one with them, which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed the tower from pollutions. And he entered into it he entered into it the 23rd day of the second month in the 171st year with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees,
Yes.
and with harps and cymbals, and with vows and hymns and songs, because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel.
So when we see here that it said, I want y'all to, you're going to look at this sentence, and you guys should look at it. You can look at two holidays, holidays out of this sentence that have come. You can look at how those holidays are celebrated out of this out of this particular verse. It says Thanksgiving. We know about Thanksgiving. We're about to go into this month of November, which is Indians, is our month, right? Because that's when they have Thanksgiving, when the pilgrims came here and killed our people for our food and stole up our storehouses, right? But it's supposed to be the time of year that we think about the indigenous that were killed here. So it says here in the 70th year with Thanksgiving, we go into the only Thanksgiving that we want is in the temple. And then it says here, and branches of palm trees. In your Catholic churches, they tell you to bring palms. It's Palm Sunday. And with harp and cymbals is our tams, our drums in our culture. With vows and hymns. So like psalms, so singing and praise and worship. Because there was destroyed a great enemy of Yasharale. So when I bring this up, as I said earlier, and the theme has been for tonight, it is all about Judah. That everything, every practice they got comes from us. This ain't a Catholic book that we are trying to make fit to a Hebrew life. We are not trying to make a Roman, Catholic, Greek doctrine meet people that were before them. No. Those Greek, Roman, Egyptian cultures are taking from this. They don't know any other way of giving praise unto their creator but what we do. There is no other holidays. They couldn't create nothing. They had to bite off of what ours were. That's why every holiday is near a feast day for confusion. Continue.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 13, verse 52. He ordained also that the day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was, and there he dwelt himself with his company. And when Simon saw that Yochanan, his son, was a valiant man, he made him captain of all the hosts, and he dwelt in Gazal.
So y'all see the word host, and the one that follow us, I love to explain that host. It means warriors. It means war. It means there's the troops is the host. And the Most High, well, Allahai and Yasharale is the Shabbat. He is the host of hosts. He is the king of all armies. Oh yeah. We are now going to 14.
Now in the 180th year, King Demetrius gathered his forces together and went into Madai, Media, to get him help to fight against Tryphon. But when Arsaces, the king of Persia and Madai, heard that Demetrius was entered within the borders, he sent one of his princesses to take him alive, who went and smote the host of Demetrius and took him and brought him to Arsaces, by whom he was put inward. As for the land of Judea, that was quiet all the days of Simon, for he sought the good of his nation in such wise as that evermore his authority and honor pleased them all, and pleased them well. And as he was honorable in all his acts, so in this, that he took Japho for a haven, and made an entrance to the isles of the sea, and enlarged the bounds of his nation, and recovered the country.
So he did what?
He enlarged the bounds of his nation, and recovered the country.
So we are looking at Simon. After they lost, remember we got sacked our first temple, everything has gone down. This is before 70 AD. 70 AD was the second time the temple was destroyed. And here now Simon is reclaiming and expanding our borders after he made the deal with Demetrius, which was Demetrius was a Persian king, right, sister?
Demetrius is the king of Arsaces is the king of
Persia. Arsaces, yes. So Demetrius makes friends with Simon after all that he does. Now we are in a situation where who went and smote the host of Demetrius and took him and brought him to Xerxes, by whom he was put inward. So now Xerxes, the Persians, have actually kidnapped Demetrius. All right. Now Simon, and you'll see, we have enlarged and got our land back. Demetrius was nice. They got out of our land. We kicked them out. We had a good relationship with them. Now Demetrius is in trouble with the Persians. Continue.
Verse 7. And he gathered together a great number of captives, and had the dominion of Gazam, and Bethsura, and the tower, out of which he took all uncleanness, neither was there any that resisted him. Then did they till their ground in peace, and the earth gave her increase, and the trees of the field their fruit.
Oh, my brother Aaron, how we can help the unconfused, my brother? Let me know what part that your family got confused on, man, and then we will circle back to it. Continue, sister.
Verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, communing together of good things. And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Warlike.
He provided victuals for the cities, and set in them all manner of munition, so that his honorable name was renowned unto the end of the world.
To the end of the world.
He made peace in the land, and Yisrael rejoiced with great joy. For every man sat under his vine and his fig tree, and there was none to fray them. Ooh. Neither was there any left in the land to fight against them. Yeah, the kings themselves were overthrown in those days. Moreover, he strengthened all those of his people that were brought low, The Torah he searched out, and every contemner of the Torah and wicked person he took away.
So we see how we can get our community together, right? People that will not follow the law got to go. It's real simple. It's the same way with yourself. If you're not following the law, you need to repent. Get away from yourself that wants to go into iniquity. Go lock yourself in a room, do whatever you got to do. But here also it states to us that every man was down, every king was taken low at that moment, right? So now Jonathan Simon, as you heard the game before, Simon says, right? Well, can we say that the Simon says came from this particular Simon? I probably would have to go with it because things like Ichabod Crane and things like Rumpelstiltskin and all these things come from a basis of history, not just folklore. So continue.
Verse 15. He beautified the sanctuary and multiplied vessels of the temple. Now when it was heard at Rome and as far as Sparta that Jonathan was dead, they were very sorry. But as soon as they heard that his brother Simon was made high priest in his stead, they ruled the country and the cities therein. They wrote unto him in the tables of brass to renew the friendship and league which they had made in Judea and Jonathan his brother.
Oh, so now everybody, we talking Rome and Sparta. The Sparta is very important because many people think Sparta was, Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? That many people believe the movie of 300 and that Leonidas was actually of European stock. But what you're going to find out here in this, that this is the story of 300 right here. Continue.
Verse 19. Which writings were read before the assembly at Jerusalem? And this is the copy of the letters that the Macedonians sent, the rulers of the Macedonians with the city, unto Simon the high priest, and the elders, and the priests, and the remnant of the people of the Yahudim, our brethren, send greeting.
Okay, we're going to hold up right there for a minute, sister. Because Lacedaemonians, right? That is the person that we are going to make you understand that is the husband of Sparta. Sparta was a Hebrew woman. Lacedaemonians named the town after his wife, Sparta. And as you see here, writings were read before the congregation of Jerusalem. So it says, they wrote unto him in tables of brass to renew their friendship in the league which they have made with Judas and Jonathan and his brother, right? I'm saying his brothers, right? It says, which writings were read before the congregation of Jerusalem. And this is the copy of the letters that the Macedonians sent, the rulers of Macedonians with the city unto Simon, the high priest. Continue.
Verse 21. The ambassadors that were sent unto our people certify us of your glory and honor. Wherefore we were glad of their coming, and did register the things that they spoke in the council of the people in this manner. Numinus, son of Antiochus, and Antipater, son of Jacon, and Jacon, the Yahudim's ambassadors, came unto us to renew the friendship they had with us. And it pleased the people to entertain the men honorably, and to put a copy of their ambassage in public records, so the end of the people of the Macedonians might have a memorial thereof. Furthermore, we have written a copy thereof unto Simon the high priest. After this, Simon sent Numinus to Rome with a great shield of gold of 1,000-pound weight to confirm the league with them.
1,000-pound weight of gold he sent to Rome. I'm just saying, man, like 1,000 pounds of gold. You know what I'm saying? Like take a second to get that in. Yeah, that's heavy and expensive. Continue.
Verse 25. Whereof, when the people heard, they said, what thanks shall we give to Simon and his son? For he and his brethren in the house of his father have established Israel and chased away and fight their enemies from them and confirmed their liberty.
Earn their liberty.
So then they wrote in it table of brass, which they set upon the pillars in Mount Zion. And this is the copy of the writing. The 18th day of the month Elul, in the 163 year, being the 3rd year of Simon the high priest. As Samuel, in the great assembly of the priests and people and the rulers of the nation and elders of the country, were these things notified unto us. For as much as oftentimes there have been wars in the country, wherein for the maintenance of their sanctuary and the Torah, Simon the son of Menethahu, and the prosperity of Yerushalayim, together with his brethren, put themselves in jeopardy, and resisting the enemies of their nation, did their nation great honor.
So remember, I told you the story of what Methodius did. The Roman soldiers, the Greek soldiers came in and told him to sacrifice on a temple. And it says here that Methodius, that they were put themselves in jeopardy for resisting the enemies of their nation. Now you can take that as people inside their nation, as we had Pharisees and Sadducees that were going against us, that was inside of us, internal. Or you can be speaking about the other enemies that were coming about or invading the country. But I think it's it's important for us to understand that these enemies that we are dealing with have always been neighbors. Go on.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 14, verse 30. For after that, Jonathan, having gathered his nation together, and then being their high priest, was added to his people. Their enemies prepared to invade their country, that they might destroy and lay hands on the sanctuary. At which time Simon rose up and fought for his nation, and spent much of his own substance, and armed the valiant men of his nation, and gave them wages.
Whoa.
And fortified the cities of Judea together with Batsara, that lies upon the borders of Judea, where the armor of the enemies had been before. But he set a garrison of Yahudim there. Moreover, he fortified Yaffo, which lies upon the sea, and Gaza, that borders upon Ashdod, where the enemies had dwelt before. But he placed Yahudim there, and furnished them with all things convenient for the reparation thereof. The people therefore sang the acts of Simon, and unto what glory he thought to bring his nation, made him their governor and chief priest, because he had done all these things. And for the justice and faith which he kept for his nation, and for that he sought by all means to exalt his people.
That's right.
For in his time the things prospered in his hand, so that the heathen were taken out of their country, and they also that were in the city of David and Jerusalem, who had made themselves a tower, out of which they issued and polluted all the sanctuary, and did much hurt in the holy place.
Tower of Babel.
But he placed Yahudim there, and fortified it for the safety of the country and the city, and raised up the walls of Jerusalem. King Demetrius also confirmed him in the high priesthood according to those things, and made him one of his friends, and honored him with great honor. For he had heard say that the Romans had called the Yahudim their friends, and confederates, and brethren. and that they had entertained the ambassadors of Simon honorably.
So the Romans saying that we ain't got no beef. Remember, this is before Yasha. Remember, because the Romans were the ones that executed Yasha. And we also know that they didn't want to. We know from the roots the true story that the Sanhedrin put the Romans up to it. So we look here at the history that the Romans actually had, Esau had with the Hebrews. We had been shown to be great warriors of fight. But when your priesthood is sold out, such as the Sanhedrin and the Pharisees have done, that's the only way you can take down a proud, great people such as us. Only because we have stepping and fetches that we don't check in our own community enough. Continue.
Also, that Yahudim and the priests were well pleased with Simon, should be their governor and high priest forever, until there should arise a faithful prophet. Moreover, that he should be their captain, and should take charge of the sanctuary, to set them over their works, and over the country, and over the armor, and over the fortress, that I say he should take charge of the sanctuary. Beside this, that he should be obeyed of every man, and that all the writings in the country should be made in his name, and that he should be clothed in purple and wear gold.
Yeah.
Also, that it should be lawful for none of the people or priests to break any of these things, or to gainsay his words, or to gather in assembly in the country without him, or to be clothed in purple, or wear a buckle of gold. And whosoever should do otherwise, or break any of these things, he should be punished. Thus it liked all the people to deal with Simon and to do as he has been said.
Simon says, right? I'm telling y'all, the game that you grew up playing up as a kid came from this. Simon says. Continue.
Then Simon ascended hereof, and was well pleased to be high priest, and captain, and governor of the Yahudim and priests, and to defend them all. So they commanded that this writing should be put in tables of brass, and that they should be set upon within the compass of the sanctuary in conspicuous places, in a conspicuous place. Also, that the copies thereof should be laid up in the treasury, to the end that Simon and his sons might have them.
All right, I'm gonna go on to this. I'm gonna read the beginning of 15 for you guys right quick before we go on to Psalm 78.
Psalm 78?
That's right.
I got that. I got the book of Psalms.
All right. 1 second. So I want you guys to also, as you're gonna see on the screen as I'm putting it up. Down is.
So it's going to be so good so far.
Yes, it is. 1 second, young man. Trying to find one particular information I want you guys. There we go. So the Macedonians, the Spartans, right? So you guys can see. Go! Excuse me, guys. So as you see right here, the Lacedaemonians, right? So Lacedaemonians is the Spartans. And it says, copy of the letters to Honorius sent of Lacedaemonians, Onias. So Onias in this Maccabees 12:18 is when they speak to Lacedaemonians. Onias is who is the high priest before Simon, is found in the writings that he tells the Lacedaemonians that they are brethren, right? So that's 12:18. Let's go to that 12:18 right quick. Yeah. Just so you guys can understand how much the lies are in, right? And when you think that what you know is facts, and you think that these people telling you that white man wrote this book. So let's just have this. So 18, it says, they wrote unto him in tables of brass to renew the friendship. Oh, wait, I didn't get it right. Verse Maccabees 12:18. And it says, and this is a copy of the letters that the Lacedaemonians sent, the rulers of Lacedaemonians in the city, unto the high priest, Simon the high priest, and the elders. Oh, wow, they keep giving me back. I'm trying to go to 12:18. They keep, hold up, guys. Yeah, man, they trying not to give me this 12:18. Let this word go across, yeah. All right. So it says here, yes. So we have, wherefore now ye shall do well to give us an answer thereof. So Jason and them, remember we read that the ambassadors for Judah that went to Rome and went to Sparta, right, were Numius, the son of Antiochus, Antipater, the son of Jason, and the Romans, right, to renew their league. And it says, we command them also to go unto you and to salute and to deliver you our letters concerning the renewing of our brotherhood. Okay, Simon is Maccabees. This is all Judah, right? And they're talking about reestablishing their brotherhood. And it says, and this is a copy of the letters which Onias sent. Arius, king of Arius, king of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias, the high priest. So the king Arius of Lacedaemonians to Onias, and he says, it is found in writings that the Lacedaemonians and Jews are brothers, and that they are of the stock of Abraham. Now, therefore, since this has come to our knowledge, ye shall do well to write upon us your prosperity. So when we go back to when we go back to here, we see Lacedaemonians or the Spartans. Then you will understand that when you are given this image in the movies, and that's what the L, you'll see right here, the L on the shield, right? And we think the V, and that's how they show it to us in the movie, right? But in actuality, that stood on their shield stood for the L of Lacedaemonian. Yeah. And Lacedaemonian was the brothers of the Hebrews. So these European looks that they give of Leonidas being a European great conqueror, right? Actually, they were Hebrews. So it says 17, but as soon as they heard that his brother Simon was made high priest and ruled the country and the cities therein, they wrote on tables of brass, and the copies of the letters that's only sent the rulers of, and with Simon the high priest and the elders, the priests, they want to be sure to see the other side. Residue of the people of the Jews. Our brethren send greetings. Notice in the picture left, that the L on the symbol of the shield has been twisted for years to hide the facts surrounding this famous group. And you also see, as I pulled up right here, this is the area that they were in. The Tigrit, Mussolini, and Param. And then Sparta's right there in the middle. Right? Now, that's a Spartan of a man right here. This is Herodotus in the book, The Persian Wars, circa 440 BC. The Spartans, not as white, but as a compilation of Phoenician, and then they say Mania, Manians, right? Manians. But if you ask Mayan, thank you, sister. I'm glad you said it. Because what people don't really understand, and that in the book that my sister hooked me up with, that explained the Mayan culture, that the Mayans were Hermetic. So when you look here and it says that you had, but as a combination of Phoenicians and Mayans. So the Phoenicians we say are Hebrews, and the Mayans were supposed to be Hermetic, because Phoenicians and Mayans can't be the same, right? And we know for a fact that they would have considered Simon a Phoenician, even though he's a Hebrew, because he spoke the Phoenician language, the Paleo language, Hebrew language. So they gave us these names according to the language we speak. You're English, even though you're an American, because you speak English. Right? All right, last thing I'm going to show you before we get back to the scripture, right? So understanding, and like my brother Aaron, you're saying your oldest needs to hear and listen to the New Testament as much as, and also the lost pagan days celebrated around tragedy. Well, you know, this right here should give your son, Aaron, an understanding of how they have changed everything. Why it's a holiday and not a feast day. Why the Spartans are white in the movies and not black like the coin that we have up on the screen right here, showing a man with a very African nose, very, very North African nose there, with dreadlocks coming down out of his helmet. So when someone tells you that a Caucasian wrote your book, you smile at them and say, you know, I pray that the Most High will give you an eye to see and an ear to hear one day, and that you will understand that the New Testament is nothing but the heathens trying to culturally appropriate who we are as a people, from the smallest to the largest story. All right. Okay, now we're ready, sister. I was gonna let me get this last little part. Hold on, let me get this last little part of 15. Right? I'll do that thing right there. So when we look at 15, and I'm only gonna read the first 6 verses. I want y'all to understand. So it says, moreover, Antiochus, son of Demetrius, the king, sent letters from the isles of the sea unto Simon the priest and the prince of the Jews. Remember now, he ain't been elected. As my sister was correcting me earlier and saying he ain't the king. But if you notice, as we move through here, they keep giving him bigger and bigger titles. He went from just being a high priest to a governor to now prince. High priest and prince of the Jews and to all the peoples. They say the contents whereof were these: King Antiochus to Simon, the high priest and the prince of his nation, and to the people of the Hebrews, greetings. Forasmuch as certain pestilent men have usurped the kingdom of our fathers. So now Demetrius says our fathers. right? You understand? Demetrius got put in captivity. Right, and it says, son of Demetrius, right? So it's Antiochus, son of Demetrius. So he's still saying that we are all brothers now, right? So the son of Demetrius, Antiochus, is saying unto Simon, hey, you knew my dad. Hey, man, I'm trying to get back the kingdom, guy. You know, these people came into the area, you know, and they took it. They messed over you. They messed over us. For as much as certain pestilent men have usurped the kingdom of our fathers, and my purpose is to challenge it again, and that I may restore to the older state. Everybody wants to get back to the Old Testament. And to that end have gathered a multitude of foreign soldiers together and prepared ships of war. My meaning also being to go through the country that I may be avenged of them that have destroyed it and made many cities in the kingdoms desolate. Now, therefore, I confirm unto thee all the oblations which the king before me, his dad, granted thee, and whatsoever gifts besides they granted. So, not his father, I'm sorry. He's talking about Xerxes. He's talking about the king that's in now, that's taken over. He's saying that I will give you everything that the king, Xerxes, and whoever you're dealing with right now, I'm going to give you that as well. He says, besides they granted, I give thee leave also to coin money for thy country with thine own stamp. So if my sister was alluding about not being a king, we don't have our own kingdom, as I stated, right? So now this brother, Antiochus, wants to cut a deal. He says, look, I know my dad. I know all that thing happened. Look, we both got messed over. I know you done saved yourself and you rolling right now. But look, I'm about to go back and try and get mine. But look here, I'm going to give you anything that the other king you done made a deal with right now. I'm going to give you whatever he give you. And look here, I'm going to let you print your own money. I'm going to let you print your own money. Come on, this is a sweet deal, baby. Come fight with me, right? It's all about Judah. And as concerns Jerusalem and the sanctuary, let them be free. And all the armor that thou hast made and fortress that thou hast built and keepest it thine hands, let them remain unto thee. And if anything be or shall be owing to the king, let it be forgiven thee from this time forth evermore. Furthermore, when we have obtained our kingdom, heathen. Y'all gotta understand that when the heathen knocks on your door and they talk about that cultural appropriation, it's we. The Pope say it's about global education. It's about all of us, everybody under one Temple Mount. They always us when they need our blood, our taxes, our talents, our intellect, and most importantly, our spiritual compass. Why is it that, how many churches do you see that they put on the news that Biden or any candidate goes to that's a white church? It's only news when a white man goes to a black church or a black man goes to a white church. You ever noticed that? It's always us when we got a common enemy. Well, I'm telling y'all in this hour that you should take one understanding of war, that the enemy of my enemy is a friend of me. The enemy of my enemy is a friend to me. So I guess now it's time to double back to where we started, right? Where we started was you don't put no ill conversation in your mouth about another brother or sister that's trying to do right by his community. You got no right. You're stopping the Most High's work. You're getting emotional. Most High could care less about your feelings, baby. I'm going to tell you that right now. I brought all of this up in my whole thing tonight. And as my sister I've been talking to about my spirit about this, is that we have to understand that our army isn't going to look like the Navy, isn't going to look like the Marines. No, we ain't going to all have matching uniforms on. We ain't going to all have matching guns that's paid for by our tax dollars, by the way. We ain't going to have all of that. It's going to be some people with pitchforks. It's going to be some people with pruning forks. It's going to be some big mamas with rolling pins in their hand, switchblades in their bra. Some going to be organized. Some going to be able to run formations. But this war that we're about to come into, the only thing you need is to be spiritually aligned. You don't know who you're going to be fighting with. You don't know who you're going to be throwing your help to. Because see, right here in Judah, it says one king is in power. The other one's trying to get back his power. So now he's trying to circumvent his deal with this other king that wanted to keep power. I hope y'all see yourselves as the power that you have. Because see, Simon didn't have his own money. These kings had all their own money. But they needed us. We are, we ain't got no black people on the front of these $20, $5 bills. But they need us to complete the mission, to build the nation, to bring money to the nation, to be the spiritual compass of the nation. From Sparta, from Yerushalayim to Sparta, to Safar, Spain, to the Indies, the Americas. It is about Judah. It is Judah that sways the pendulum. The pendulum is out of whack right now because Judah isn't there to bring order. Cultural appropriation night is about us understanding that we are the culture, that we are the spiritual compass, that the Most High, the creator of all things living, has given us the scepter to do that job. As long as you are getting yourself together to do that job, you're missing out on your barakas, because the job only pays when you stand up and say who you're working for. Shout out to Esther, who gave us the testimony today of how she stood in the midst of trials and tribulations. But I want to bring up a small thing about that for us to understand that there was a procession of things, just like us as Hebrews are our processions in our second line, that nothing's overnight, that it's a journey to it. Well, Esther found herself having a dream that the Most High told her that she got this. And then right after that, she had a test. And she knows who she is. So when the test came, she was able to stand on the word of the Most High. Esther, Miss Artist 28, salute to you this day on the fact that you know and stood on your rock and you watched the enemies lie down. As we are looking at Simon right now, as we are looking at Judah not having his own coin, being spread across as the dust on the earth, but yet any remnant that comes together, any remnant that can show his prowess, any remnant of us that comes together on one accord in the Most High's name is respected by all nations, tongues, and people. Let's get to 78. Y'all should read the rest of this Maccabees 15 so you can see just how much these two kings started to bargain for the assistance of Judah. Let's get down to Psalm 78.
All right. I'm about to go to
The book of Psalms, chapter 78. Give ear, O my people, to my Torah. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahuwah and his strength and his wonderful works that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a Torah in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in the Most High.
What? So you're giving it to the children so that the children can have their hope in the Most High, so that they wouldn't fall subject to believing that the president, the governor, their teacher, a police officer, a fireman, or any damn human being in this world is going to save them but their creator. Yeah, it's cool for our kids to want to be cops and want to dress up as firemen, but they need to understand clearly that none of that means nothing without the Father. Continue.
Verse 7, that they might set their hope in the Most High, and not forget the works of their power, but guard his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn, rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart out aright, and whose ruach was not steadfast with the Most High. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They did not guard the covenant of the Most High, and refused to walk in his Torah, and forgot his works, and his wonders that he showed them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Mizraim.
So it says in 9, 1 second, and in 9, as you see that again, Ephraim, and we've gone on this story last week, that when you go without, even when they brought the Ark of the Covenant with them, the Philistines beat their butt, killed 30,000 men, and took the Ark of the Covenant to the where the man Eli fell backwards in his chair and broke his neck and died. We have to let our children, our parents, our loved ones, anybody that we care about, know that if you want true power, understand your powers in your prayer. Continue.
The book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 12. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Mizraim, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea, and he caused them to pass through. And he made the waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with his light of fire.
So if y'all don't know, and I hope that y'all are really paying attention and y'all are all and hanging on every word, but know that this Psalm 78 is going to be a history recap of all that we have gone through from leaving out of Egypt after being chosen by the Father through Abraham, after coming out of Egypt, and he's going to break down the rest for us. So continue, sister.
Verse 15. He clave the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths.
Manna.
He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lust.
That's when the Father gave them. That's when the Father gave them birds and gave them quail, and they all came from all corners of the sky and fell right in front of them on their feet. And Moses knew that the Father was upset and that this was a reproach that was being sent by the Father, and begged them, and they ate and they died. Continue.
Verse 19. Yeah, they spoke against the Most High. They said, "Can the Most High furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, and that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people?"
Yep.
Therefore Yahuwah heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and the anger also came up against Yisrael.
Yes.
Because they believed not in the Most High and trusted not in his salvation.
And Yasha, they trusted not in Yasha. So salvation here this is Psalm, so this is before Yasha came. Yasha is our salvation. And still to this day, we are not doing that. We are not trusting in our salvation. Our salvation clearly tells us to repent, follow the commandments, and speak righteously, because your mouth has the power of life and death. Trust in your salvation. Continue.
Therefore Yahuwah heard this and was wroth. So our fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also against Israel, because they believed not in Elohim and trusted not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down the manna upon them to eat, and had given them of grain of heaven.
The corn of heaven.
Man did eat eagles' food. Man did eat angels' food.
Oh, yes.
He sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heavens, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea.
So right here, the Father is giving them the food of angels, manna. And them fools said they ain't like it no more. And I don't know about you. You don't go in somebody's house. Even if you don't like the food, you eat it and say thank you, and you cordial, and you go on outside and you pray that you ain't gonna throw up a poopy pants. But what you don't do is stand up in a house that you've been invited to and say, where's the filet mignon? Where is the 2000 Bordelais? Where's the Merlot? Where's the good stuff? What you don't do is look in the Father's face and say that, you know what? Even though I got some peace right now, I ain't got enough, Father. You haven't done enough for me. I'm a good person. Why I ain't got a Benz? Why I ain't got this? Why I ain't got that? And the Father's sitting back there saying, well, la-dee-da, you ain't did nothing. And you acting like you deserve the world. You know what I'm going to do for you? You know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to show you what it feels like to hit the low, because you don't know what low is. Obviously, you can't appreciate where you are. You don't understand that there's a lower level that you can go. And oh, please don't be the type that have written so far up that you like a little good old squirrel. You got your little nest egg here, and you got your little nest egg over there, and you got this little boy hidden over here, and nobody there, and you're just sitting quiet in the corner. Nobody know what you got. You just sit. Oh no, the Father says that if you forget that it's about me, if you forget that I am the one that provided, it doesn't matter how much you hit it, I will take it from you. If you do not recognize the power that you have comes from me, I will take it from you. Continue. 28.
And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat and were filled and were well filled. For he gave them their own desires. They were not estranged from their lust. But while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of the Most High came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel.
Can I ask you a question, sister?
Sure.
Is obesity an underlying clause of COVID-19?
Oh yeah, that's a pre-existing condition.
That's a pre-existing condition. Because I'm just saying, right here said the wrath of the Most High came upon them and slew the fattest of them. So last I checked, when this pestilence is going, the ones that dying is the fattest. The ones that don't care about their body, don't care about what they're eating. They're eating off the fat of the land. They're Gucci with the pork. I'll continue.
Verse 32. For all this they sinned still and believed not for his wondrous works. Therefore their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. When he slew them, then they sought him. And they returned and inquired early after the Most High. And they remembered that the Most High was their rock and power.
Say that one more time.
And they remembered that Elohim was their rock. And their power, their redeemer.
Yes.
Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongue.
I love you, Lord. I love you.
For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant.
Oh no, God knows, man. Look. am not going to eat any abomination, but they had nothing but pork over there. I had to eat. I mean, God don't want me to die of being hunger. That's not my God. My God don't want me to die of hunger. Y'all can't even fast. You can't go 5 minutes without what you think you need. You can't have patience upon him. Continue.
Verse 38. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yeah, many a time turned his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath.
All praises.
For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passes away and comes not again.
Yes.
How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert?
I mean, like the Most High said in 39, he remembered that they were flesh. So how could my creator be jealous of something that is flesh, that wind will pass it away and cometh not again? My father could never be jealous of me doing anything stupid. Continue.
Yeah, they turned back and tempted the Most High and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemies. How he had wrought his signs in Mizraim and his wonders in the field of Zoan. And he had turned their rivers into blood and their flood, and that they could not drink. He sent diverse sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them.
Yes.
He gave also their increase into caterpillars,
locusts,
and their labor unto the locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts.
Ooh, so the flocks got killed with ice and then with thunderbolts. I mean, damn. Continue.
He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them.
So I think that this is one of the biggest things about, hindsight is always 20/20. But I pray that Jordan, unlike what I was able to do with my son Hiram, that he understands the importance of Exodus. Because if you don't know that your father showed his hand like it has never been shown in this world before, if our children, like come with me for a second, if our children, like they know football, like they know karate, like they know Power Rangers, like they know SpongeBob SquarePants, like they know Powerpuff Girls, if they knew that the Exodus story was their creator, and that they knew that their creator turned rivers into blood and had locusts eating up all of the food and had animals killed by lightning and hail, don't you think they would have a different respect for the game, so to speak? They would have a different respect for their own power. They would have maybe an esteem inside of them, a self-esteem that nobody could shake. Maybe it could possibly be a situation where they would stand in front of a racist person and says, I know who I am. How many times have you seen that go viral on YouTube or social media, that some person of our hue is being discriminated against, and they say, I know whose I am, and don't you know that you will be struck down on this earth for going against the child of the Most High? I don't think I've seen that video before. You didn't either? That's what I'm saying. If we understood our power, then our responses when we are coming across iniquity, or we're coming across adversity, or we're coming across people prohibitors, we would have different answers to them. And like Esther, you wouldn't speak to the idiot, You would be speaking to the spirit. Or rather yet, let me not say the word the idiot. You wouldn't speak to flesh. You would speak to spirit. See, if we started teaching our children that the Most High hears your words, He hears not just your prayers, He hears your words. He also hears the thoughts in your heart. If our children, because they say the children are the future, if we started getting it to our children clearly to understand this to be a fact, that the Most High hears your prayers, hears your thoughts, hears your in, what's the word I want? He hears your fear. And that's the one thing the Father does not want to hear. He does not want to hear about your fear. Because He has shown His hand. And He says, well, then you don't know about my story of Exodus? You coming at me with your fear. And you don't remember what I've done for your fathers, for your mothers, for your aunts, for your great uncles? It's like a child that wakes up in the morning and asks his mother, are we going to have food today? When that child knows that that mother will lose her life to make sure that that child is fed that day. Wouldn't think twice. As a mother, and you woke your child up for school, and your child, first thing out, will take the coal out of his eyes and say, Mama, are we going to eat today? You would be thrown off. You'd be offended. You'd be like, wait, what has happened for you to think that Mama ain't going to take care? What then happened? What evil spirit then came upon my child in this night that doesn't know that I'm going to take care of? Ain't that right, Ashley? There ain't no day where your child should ask you that question. That's the same thing the Father is saying when you bring the fear to Him about what you need or what you don't have or what concerns you may have. The Father says, man, if y'all just remember what I've done for you. Continue to read. Verse 50.
He made a way to His anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to the pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Israel, the chief of their strength in the tabernacles of Ham, but made His own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. And He led them on safely, so that they feared not. But the sea overwhelmed their enemies, and He brought them to the border of His sanctuary, even to this mountain which His right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High, and did not guard His testimonies, but turned back and dwelt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow, for they provoked Him to anger with their high places, and moved Him to jealousy with their graven images.
Wait, they did what? With the what? Sister, see you trying to let everybody know what the Most High really is upset about in this hour. Can you read that one more?
Verse 58.
Yeah.
For they provoked Him to anger with their high places, and moved Him to jealousy with their graven images.
Graven images. You out there worshiping these things. You out here regurgitating these lies. You refuse to search for yourself. You are moving Him to anger, and then you got the nerve to get on your knees and bring Him all of that fear. Oh, Lord, what are we going to do? That's why I said in our scripture that the women of Zion forgot how to cry out loud to the Most High. It is not to be crying out with fear. The Most High says, I need my women to stand up and say, Father, I've taught my son to be righteous. I pray that you make sure that any man that go against my child, daughter, son, they are stricken down. Now, oh Lord, please, Lord, when he goes out the house, Lord, please protect him. Please hold him. No! You have anointed your child. You have anointed them. You have washed them with the scriptures. They know who their father is. You should not be showing that fear to your child. Your child should not see fear when you are praying to your creator. He should see happiness. She should see joy. She should see rejoicing. Your children should be like, okay, whoa, my dad is in the midst of praying. It's going down. Some good stuff is happening after this because they're always in the righteous mode when they're in this mode. Because that's how a child is. A child don't know what you're afraid of. They don't understand the impending danger of rent and mortgages. They don't understand being homeless. They don't understand none of this. But they understand how you react to the problem that you are facing. Continue, my sister.
Verse 59. When Elohim heard this, he was wroth and greatly abhorred Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So that he forsook the tabernacle of Shalom, the tent which he had placed among men.
We just read about Shiloh. We did a whole thing on Shiloh. So Most High was so upset that he took what he had given to Jacob, where Jacob laid his head with stones, where he made a temple. The father said, I'm so done with y'all. I'm not even going to let my tabernacle be of Shiloh. Continue.
And delivered his strength into the captivity and his glory into the enemy's hand.
Mm-hmm.
He gave his people over also unto the sword, and he was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Then Adonai awoke as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouts by reason of wine.
When you got a little something, and you joycing, you out there screaming. Go ahead.
and he smote his enemies in their hinder parts, and he put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Yehuda, the Mount Zion which he loved.
Yahoo!
And he built his sanctuary like high places. He built his sanctuary like high palaces, like the earth which he has established forever. He chose David also his servant, and took him from the sheepfold. From following the hills great young, he brought him to feed Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance.
Is what, sister?
Verse 71, from following the hills, great with young, he brought him to feed Jacob, his people, and Israel, his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands.
All praises to the Most High. So you see in 78, all through the Maccabees, there's always this one continuing theme. They need us, and we need the Father. The only way that they can get to the Father is through us. That's it. No matter how you slice it, no matter what nation, what border, whatever it is, at the end of the day, they need us, and we need the Father. They can't get to the Father without us. And the Father is upset with us when we follow anything but him, when we are not aligned like we are supposed to be with him. I pray that you see as we are going into these elections and these people talking, and you will see as everyone has forgotten about the fact that the Pope has brought in New World Order. And you got people that are going to be emotional. They are going to lose their minds behind these things that are coming up in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm telling y'all as Judah, sit back and know that you have the cards. Sit back and know that you have the golden crown. Sit back and know that you are the original. That it's all come from you. And that no matter how much they scream, how much they talk, at the end of the day, they got to come back to you. If you know they got to come back to you, then you should understand the power that you have. Don't think that you're singular, my one vote can do, or what my one stance is going to do. Oh, no. We ain't never alone. The Most High is always with us, and we stand up for the Most High in Him. Then the Most High will make other people see it that we could not even imagine had seen us. Cultural Appropriation Night on Wednesday. I'm telling you guys, as we've been saying for 2 years, the block is hot. Now we're saying the time is nigh, that we are here. We are at war. Know what your power is so that you can survive. Know what your righteousness and your commandments are so that when all this stuff go crazy, I can see you in the streets. Y'all can see us in the streets. And y'all know that we are covered and are still alive because of the Most High and following the commandments. And then we will connect. And we will wage the war that's needed to be waged. As I was stating earlier, in this times, we don't need to be on nobody's social media platforms downing no black organization. For nothing. Well, unless they are, following the Europeans and they're trying to get everybody to fall into that trap. But anyone that's trying to reach into our community, whether it be Islam, whether it be Rasta, whether it be Moor, whether it be Hebrew, whether it be ex-thug, whether it be convict, if they are doing the right thing and they are representing righteousness, speak no ill. Worst thing you can do is speak ill of a righteous woman or a righteous man. Whew. Like my sister said, people better leave me alone. They understand who I'm praying to every night? Don't they understand how much I work on being righteous? You don't want to mess with one of the daughters of Zion. They don't want to go against a son of Zion, a daughter of Zion, Yahuda, a Yasharale. And we're only that when we're following the commandments. We're only that when we know the power that comes out of our mouths. We're only that when we constantly circumcise our heart. But that's our show for tonight. I give all praise to the Most High. Remember your power. Know that Judah, nothing moves on this earth without you. No election, no new nation, no new world order, no nothing without you. Don't be concerned about if you got dollars in your name or in your face image. But as my sister said, what's that in Revelations? Thou art what?
Thou art rich.
Yes. When you know that you're rich, you don't need money in your pocket to tell you that you're rich. I'm gonna leave that out. I'm gonna leave that to y'all with some pimp game. When you know you're rich, you ain't gotta have a dollar in your pocket to know that. You dig what I'm saying? Me shalom.